Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another quick Guild Ball match report. This time my Falconers are facing off against some proxied Navigators. I've drawn these cards, keep the ball moving, seize the initiative, wing backs, fullback, and the offside trap. So this is my second game against Insidiously Mad. The terrain will be the same as in the previous video, but we've got an obstacle, a little patch of rough ground which is telling us where the centre is, some fast ground, obstacle, and some rough ground. I won the roll-off again and debated kicking just to see what that's like, but I spoke the fateful words, I'm going to play this game like I'm trying to win, and decided to receive. So the Navigators have got Fathom, I think, Windfinder, Azimuth, Original Siren, who's kicking the ball, Wander, and Ebb. For the Falconers, I've got pretty standard Minerva, Frelsey, Matagi, Divana, Veteran Hern, and Rundas. What I'd like to do is snag the ball this game and just hide behind this rough ground and pray that I can keep it away from the Navigators long enough to get some kills in. Ideally, I want to do that with Matagi, and so I don't remember why I decided to put him in the middle of Minerva out on the wing. There must have been some reason, but I had to place Rundas over here because I wanted his shadow-like dodge to be able to get me over the wall and not stop me from sprinting over the obstacle. My opponent often kicks just short right down the middle, but this time he decided to go for a rather risky wing kick, and he nailed it pretty perfectly, and the ball is now not so easy to get to. I go with Rundas, I just dodge him over the wall, and sprint and get him back a little way over here. This was a terrible activation. For one thing, I probably could have walked up and walked back a little bit and put out my Harrier, or I could have walked, sprinted, got up, and then passed the ball maybe to Hern, or just kicked the ball back. I think the best thing would have been just to kick the ball back over here. What I did instead was, I'm aware that Siren will want to steal the ball from me, so I dropped the ball off an inch or so behind Rundas, thinking it's nice and safe. Foolish me. So all Siren does is just walk across a little bit and seduce Rundas into walking towards her, snapping the ball that he's just dropped as he goes. Didn't realise she could do that. Ugh. And luckily he fails to tackle the ball off Rundas. That must have been a pretty bad roll. I sprint Frelsey up to the centre. I like doing this as it gives me good hack-back coverage for when Divana goes. Ebb runs up and knocks Rundas, tackles the ball, knocks Rundas down, dodges a million miles away, and passes the ball back over here. Matagi walks up and puts down a Harrier. It's possible Wander has used some ability to pull Ebb out of the Harrier, but if not, that's a poor placement, as I think I should always try to have at least one enemy in the Harrier, even if it's not the one I'm intending to go for, as it just reduces the risk of having to waste Divana's influence moving it around if I don't have to. Again, I think I've messed up the influence allocation to begin with because I didn't allocate any to Minerva, and it would be really good to get some more Harriers out, but instead I've just walked her up, and Fathom has come up into cover. I think Azimuth collects the ball, passes to Windfinder, allowing her to dodge. He walks up to be central. Divana or Hern has gone and just run up and to be useful next turn. Divana has hack-backed Frelsey over to Azimuth just to make charging more difficult for him, run around and used the Harrier to hit probably Siren, as it would have been pretty wasteful to attack Ebb given his Blessings ability to only take 2 damage ever. So Windfinder goes, just sprints over to or charges Minerva, I can't remember, it probably doesn't matter, hits her for some momentum, dodges out and sinks the goal with the rerolls, getting a screamer. 4-0 to the Navigators. Again, I debated hack-backing Frelsey over to try to block her path, but I don't think that would have stopped her, given all the dodges she can potentially get. Yeah, so not really liking how this pitch is looking, given that I've kind of all been shuffled over to this one side, whereas the Navigator's got a nice spread, and feed through lanes. And because I'm so low on momentum, because I've fucked things up, the Navigator's going to go first. I try to put the ball out over here, and the kickoff scatters. Not good for me, as the ball goes behind my line. Not having lines on the pitch made that hard to remember, and so I kicked it off at a too risky angle and got stung by it. We go into turn 2, and I win the initiative and choose to go second to get that all-important point of momentum, because I can't generate any until that ball gets cleared from behind my lines. I did realise that I could get the ball, but I felt if I went and collected it and passed it forward, I would just be giving it back to the Navigators. And I sort of wondered if I could get away without it. Kill their players, not really worry too much about momentum, and leave it up to them to waste time getting the ball. That, my friends, was a gigantic error. Because Azimuth goes, just walks away from Frailsea, doesn't really care about the counter-attack, hits Rundas, and does a ranged knockdown on Divana, takes a dodge, hits Rundas or Hearn, takes a knockdown on Hearn, hits one of these two, does a dodge again, hits one of these two, and does a ranged knockdown on Matagi, and then dodges back out. So 4 members of my team are knocked down, and I've got 1 point of momentum, and no way of generating any more. Fuck! I compound this mistake by going with Minerva and knocking down Windfinder, which obviously doesn't generate me any momentum, and now I really am screwed. I think I go with Frailsea just to try to tie people up, and Siren escapes out of the range, and looks like Ebb's also knocked down Frailsea, run away. Basically, I think he's just trying to deny me targets and take this opportunity to disengage his otherwise rather squishy players. I go with Rundas, use my momentum to stand him up, Shadow-like dodge, sprint over to the ball, and then kick it forwards again. Far too late, really. As I say, I might have said I didn't want to do this too early because I felt kicking it back. If I retrieved the ball, the Navigators would just immediately snag it and get a second goal. And really, I think I should have accepted that would have happened to enable my team to at least do something this turn. But now the ball is free and in the game again. I have an opportunity to at least salvage something from this turn. If I stand Matagi up, and Rundas had dropped a Harrier on top of Azimuth as he went. If I stand Matagi up, I can hotshot Azimuth and generate some momentum, which will allow Divana to stand up and get some revenge. But because Insidiously Mad like to shit on all my dreams, he goes with Windfinder and kills Matagi. Oh my god, give me a break. So I can't do anything but stand guys up now, and Fathom runs over to hang out with Windfinder and Minerva. So after that super fun turn, we go into turn 3, and obviously I've got no momentum. The Navigators can do what they like, but I play the offside trap to be a dick. Navigators go first. Windfinder beats on Minerva, but can't quite kill her. She's hanging on by a thread. She's knocked down, and Windfinder just dodges away to be within tap-in range of the goal. I continue to play like I'm made of stupid, although there's not really much salvaging things at this point. I think I charge Hearn at Azimuth, just try to proc his defensive stance counter-attack thing, which he does, and so I do nothing. Azimuth goes, collects the ball, dodges back around and passes it over to the Seagull. At some point, Fathom charges in on Minerva, finishing her off, making the score 8-0 to the Navigators. I run Rundas up to Dirty Knives, Azimuth, and fail. And I'm, again, a bit stuck. I don't think I've got any momentum, and I've got multiple players knocked down. So I'm relying on Matagi again to run up and use his hot shot to generate momentum to enable me to stand Divana up and do stuff. But it's okay, the Navigators put me out of my misery as the Seagull flies forward, passes to Windfinder, who takes the bonus time tap in with a reroll, gets a Screamer to close the game. 12-0 to the Navigators. So yeah, that was a total butt thumping. Oh my god, that went so badly. So badly. And first thing to say is this was not a very representative game, given how badly I played it, and a bit of poor luck with that scatter. And so whilst the Navigators are clearly extremely strong, I don't think this is a good representation of their matchup with Falconers, which I feel should be much better than this went. So really all I'll say is that ranged knockdowns are fucking obscene, and Windfinder and Azimuth have to die. They have to die. How easy that is, I don't know, because I wasn't really able to hit anybody. But I know how quickly Scatter goes down, and so Windfinder shouldn't really be any different. And a couple of good hits on Azimuth with like Death from Above should get round his stupid Gladiator counterattack. Given how badly I played my guys, not really much to comment on, other than to say I'm really liking Matagi. He's really fast. He's fairly durable as long as you don't stand him in the middle of the pitch next to a stacked up captain. Defense 5 is pretty great, unless your opponents die spike or unless they get rerolls. But it's Hotshot that's time and again coming into play, or at least giving me that flexibility to be able to disengage him and still do stuff, or in this case generate some momentum from range. And he does some pretty good damage too, so yeah, loving him. And can't wait to get these guys back on the table again and rematch with the Navigators. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that, and let's never speak of this game again. Take care.